Before we get started, I have a quick favor. I've been self-funding the Finding Genius podcast for 5 years now. I've done over 3,000 episodes. And as you can see on YouTube, we're up over 1 million views on the channel, which is fantastic. The next thing I really want to push on is to get up to 10,000 subscribers. Because once we do, we'll be able to put a donate button and we'll be able to solicit donations to help keep the podcast running and to also get the Finding Genius Foundation moving along. We have a big project studying anxiety, depression, and PTSD and working on a product to help people overcome these problems because I've seen them explode recently after the last 2 years of the whole virus situation. So if you would, please subscribe to the podcast. That would help us tremendously. Give us a thumbs up and check in the description for Buy Me a Coffee. It's about $5. If you could buy me a coffee, I'd really appreciate it. It would help keep the channel going, and I love coffee. Thank you.
Do you struggle with a lack of focus or energy? The team at Physician Designed knows the feeling, and they can help. Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 both use a proprietary blend of PQQ and CoQ10 to maximize the boost you need without any negative side effects. Studies show that Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 lower fatigue, anxiety, and depression while increasing mental acuity and awareness. Feel the difference for yourself today. You can save 30% on your next order at physiciandesigned.com. Just use the code GENIUS during checkout. Again, that's GENIUS to get 30% off at physiciandesigned.com.
Forget frequently asked questions.
Common sense, common knowledge, or Google.
How about advice from a real genius? 95% of people in any profession are good enough to be qualified and licensed. 5%
go above and beyond.
They become very good at what they do, but only
0.1%
are real geniuses. Richard Jacobs has made it his life's mission to find them for you. He hunts down and interviews geniuses in every field: sleep science, cancer, stem cells, ketogenic diets, and more. Here come the geniuses. This is the Finding Genius Podcast
with Richard Jacobs.
Hello, this is Richard Jacobs with the Finding Genius Podcast, now part of the Finding Genius Foundation. My guest today is Jackson Larkin. He's the CEO of two companies. One is called Physician Designed. That's what we're going to focus on today. The website is physiciandesigned.com. The other one is AO Biologix. So, Jackson, thank you for coming.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Tell me a bit about your background, and then I want to ask you about what's the premise of Physician Designed.
Yep, definitely. So I've worked within our companies, Physician Design, AO Biologix, over the last 10 years. Before that, I studied international business and biological sciences before really jumping in fully into what we're doing now. Do you want to know more about our companies or more about me? What do you want to start with?
Well, tell me about your personal background first, and then I want to ask you about the companies. Like, what's been your path in business, and why did you create Physician Design, and how did you end up where you're at today?
Perfect. Yep. So we actually started as a medical practice. Our main founder, Dan Purser, MD, he's had his medical practice he's practiced over 35 years now. And so I jumped in about 12 years ago. Just literally started in the medical practice, filing charts, putting things away, and just slowly kind of worked my way up over time. Went to school and got educated and tried to learn as much as I could about the things that we were really doing. And so from that medical practice is where I was able to really just help understand moving forward what we could do in the business world. We've always designed and developed different products for all sorts of companies, but we never launched our own brand not until about 2017. And so that's when I really started jumping on board with all that side of everything. Was doing all the design work for everything back in the very early days, and just making the labels and all the logos and everything that we were doing right from the very beginning. And so that's why I love every aspect of what we have, while working very closely with our main doctor and then also our other formulating partner with these very unique products that we now have patents on and that we're slowly bringing out to the world.
What kind of products has Physician Design made, or have you made?
Yep. So Physician Design is mainly it's supplements. So we have a glutathione product that's really more absorbable than any other glutathione on the market. It's very unique the way that we have developed it, the patents that we have around it. It's reduced. It's a reduced glutathione, stays reduced. So we have supplements on our Physician Design line, but then we've also developed several different cosmetics and other just wellness products for other companies over the years. And we can jump into AO Biologix, which is more of our biotech company, and We have a new OTC pain relief gel in that company, but it's a little bit different than what we're doing with our physician design stuff.
Well, maybe we can start with physician design. So, I still take a lot of supplements, and I've noticed some of them, for some reason, just work a lot better than others, even if on the bottle it says the exact same ingredients. So how is anyone supposed to know, okay, this supplement says it has glutathione or reduced glutathione? How do they know if it's effective or not for them?
Yeah. Oh, that is a fantastic question. That's exactly what we are building everything around. In our main practice, one of the phrases we always have is good nutrition in equals good hormones out. But how do you determine what is the good nutrition? Like you said, all these supplements, they all sell the exact same thing. But what are the actual good ones? What are the proper functioning versions? And that's going to differ for everyone based on your genetics, based on the nutritional capabilities of what you're actually able to digest and absorb. It's a little bit different for everyone. And so that's what we do in our practice. We look at intracellular vitamin, mineral, and amino acid levels. The practice is just called Dan Purser, MD, out here in Pleasant Grove, Utah. And so we do some very unique testing with that, as well as looking at your different genetics. And based on that, we can develop a strategy moving forward of the correct versions of vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that your body can actually absorb. So that's the products we've developed on Physician Designed are meant to be exactly that, specialized versions or specialized formulations of different blends of minerals and vitamins to really be effective at very specific things. So kind of going back to glutathione, the main thing with glutathione is that it's a very active molecule, meaning that it oxidizes very, very quickly. And so no one had done before us is really stabilize in the manufacturing process, keeping it away from oxygen throughout all of it, even through the bottling phase, everything. And so until someone actually uses the product, it stays in its reduced and active form versus even just mixing it in plain old water, it starts to become oxidized. There's just oxygen in water. And so that's one of the very unique things, at least with our glutathione, that makes it the most readily available and with the liposomes that we use, the most absorbable version of it.
Do you struggle with a lack of focus or energy? The team at Physician Designed knows the feeling, and they can help. Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 both use a proprietary blend of PQQ and CoQ10 to maximize the boost you need without any negative side effects. Studies show that Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 lower fatigue, anxiety, and depression while increasing mental acuity and awareness. Feel the difference for yourself today. You can save 30% on your next order at physiciandesigned.com. Just use the code GENIUS during checkout. Again, that's GENIUS to get 30% off at physiciandesigned.com. A couple more questions. I've noticed too, like if I get a bottle of vitamins, the first couple seem a lot more potent than the ones at the end of the bottle. They have oxygen absorbers or they have moisture absorbers or cotton in them, but what can people do to make sure like the vitamins they get stay fresh through the whole course of them taking them?
That's a very good question. It would depend on whatever the vitamin is and its own oxidation rates and just the packaging that it's in. That's a good question. Definitely desiccants or whatever else you can put in the bottle to kind of remove water and even oxygen from it probably can extend the lifetime. But otherwise, open the bottle and use it as quick as you can would probably be the best way.
Okay. And then I've had some vitamins come, and again, I'm not complaining about yours because I haven't used them yet, but I want to. But some have come spoiled. They smell like off. What are some of the problems you've seen that people have experienced with vitamins that you guys have had to navigate around? How have you navigated around them with your products?
Yeah. So definitely, some substances are much smellier than others. For example, with our glutathione, and I'll talk about glutathione a lot. That's our baby. Glutathione is a very smelly and sticky substance, no matter what. And so we've definitely, with that product specifically, we tried to do our best to mask the flavor with natural masking agents and trying to supplement with essential oils and other things to try to make the flavor as palatable as possible. But sometimes there's some things you really just can't do anything about it. Nature had created them that way for a reason, and they are the most potent in those stages. But then in other products that we've developed, encapsulated version products, just normal like veggie caps, we've actually used essential oil powders to help add either a scent or flavor to that as well to make it a little bit easier to swallow. Just like that's been another thing that we've tried as well.
Before we continue, I've been personally funding the Finding Genius podcast for 4.5 years now, which has led to 2,700 plus interviews of clinicians, researchers, scientists, CEOs, and other amazing people who are working to advance science and improve our lives and our world. Even though this podcast gets 100,000 plus downloads a month, we need your help to reach hundreds of thousands more worldwide. Please visit findinggeniuspodcast.com and click on Support Us. We have 3 levels of membership from $10 to $49 a month, including perks such as the ability to see ahead in our interview calendar and ask questions of upcoming guests, transcripts of podcasts you're interested in, the ability to request specific topics or guests, and more. Visit findinggeniuspodcast.com and click Support Us today. Now back to the show.
Yeah, I've noticed with like N-acetylcysteine, it kind of has a sulfur smell, and some enzymes, seem to degrade very fast. So that's why I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah, yep, definitely. It all depends on whichever substance you're working with.
Yeah, like I've seen Burpilus, D3, D3, omega-3 fish oil. So yeah, I guess some substances, there's only so much you can do, but you guys sound like you found ways to make it as palatable as possible.
Yeah, always working to make it better.
So what's so important about, you mentioned glutathione a few times, what's so important about it for people's health and for their bodies, and what form have you guys chosen and why?
Yep, definitely. So you just mentioned N-acetylcysteine. Most people and most doctors, anyone will tell you to just take N-acetylcysteine to increase your glutathione levels naturally in your body. N-acetylcysteine is one of the 3 amino acids that make up the molecule of glutathione, and it is the limiting factor of production in your cells for glutathione. Problem is, sometimes people have genetic errors that cause them not to be able to reduce glutathione or even produce glutathione as they age. And there's been many studies done. Everyone, as they age, they lose their levels of glutathione do decrease. So glutathione is known as the master antioxidant in the body. It's the most important antioxidant in every cell. It's the first line of defense against oxidative stress. And every single cell of our body is constantly under distress by oxidative stress because mitochondria are constantly the whole process of the electron transport chain, taking carbohydrates and converting it into ATP, water, and oxygen. Sometimes those oxygen molecules are reactive oxygen species, free radicals. And so our body has several antioxidant mechanisms in place to be able to fight those oxidants. Glutathione is one of those very first important ones. And so it's ubiquitous. It is in every single cell of your body. It's used everywhere. Like I said, as we age, we lose the ability to utilize and produce our own glutathione. So that's why glutathione supplements potentially can be extremely, extremely life-changing for people. Like I was explaining before, most of them are already oxidized and they are in their inactive state, the inert state, which is GSSG versus GSH of glutathione. So again, glutathione products that are handled correctly can deliver fully reduced and active glutathiones. That's what we've done on Physician Design. We call our product VARS glutathione. It's validated, absorbable, reduced, and stable VARS glutathione.
Oh, so that's probably why sometimes I've taken, again, what seems to be the same substance, but it does nothing because it wasn't activated, or perhaps my genetics just required a better, more bioavailable form.
You got it. It just depends. It totally depends for everyone.
Okay, so this form that you guys have created is bioavailable to like the maximum number of people, or what have you had to do, and how far, how good can you make it? Can everyone benefit from it that takes it, or it's going to be impossible to do that for anybody?
Yeah, definitely. Our VARS glutathione has been our top-selling product for a number of years because it is available for anyone to use. There are some people that have naturally low glutathione levels, and they will benefit much more, but everyone will benefit taking it, especially in the long term. The cardiovascular benefits, the immune system support benefits that it has, the detoxification benefits. There's thousands and thousands of studies of where glutathione works in our body, and it is critical for everyone. Without it, if you didn't have any glutathione in your body, you would not be alive. You would not survive without it. So keeping good, healthy levels of glutathione all throughout your life is absolutely critical.
Anecdotally, what are some testimonials you've heard from eaters of it? What do they say? How has it affected them?
Yep, definitely. One of the main things that we hear from everyone is increased energy levels and reduce of brain fog. And so that just works right in that detoxification process, and just in the energy production of energy in your cells, glutathione is critical for that. And so people do really feel energized throughout the day. I know even for myself, when I first started taking it years and years ago, I always would get the afternoon slump. Right after lunch, between 1 to 3 o'clock, you just crash. But once I started taking glutathione consistently, for me, you can push right through it. It keep those energy levels all throughout it. And then we've had a lot of people use it for a workout product, either a pre or a post-workout, to really just help their muscles recover. It breaks down lactic acid. Glutathione, it's the master antioxidant for a reason. It's used everywhere. And really, it's a catch-all product.
Have you guys thought about making N-acetylcysteine or ancillary compounds that would help the glutathione work better?
Yeah, definitely. One of our products, or multiple of our products, actually contain N-acetylcysteine, as you need NAC for many different processes as well. All of our products on Physician Design are all designed to work very similarly and close together to accomplish some specific pathways and help process certain vitamins and different things. So everything is meant to work hand in hand. One of our other products, Brain Support, which is just a very simple blend of CoQ10 and PQQ. So all three of those, glutathione, PQQ, CoQ10, are all very important antioxidants for energy production in our cells. And so all three of those taken together are extremely, extremely aging protective, cognitive protective, and cardiovascular. And so definitely everything is designed to work with one another. Even our other product that we have through AO Biologix, which we can touch on a little bit later if we'd like.
Okay, so the three are glutathione reduced, or reduced glutathione, PQQ or MicroPQQ, and what's the third?
CoQ10. Coenzyme Q10.
CoQ10, of course. So what do you hear anecdotally if someone takes all three of those that you guys have produced?
Yeah, so the cool thing with Brain Support, it has been substantiated. The company that we source our ingredients from have done extensive tests on it for cognitive protection, especially in elderly people. Even Alzheimer's prevention is part of the studies that they have conducted and continue to conduct, as well as just energy levels, recollection, increase, all these many different things, everything just really in the brain to help you continue to age well and retain your memories. That's from all of our customers. Brain Support has always been a very close second in our top selling products, and I think is even surpassing our glutathione these days. But again, all three together, you have the maximum benefits.
It'll be funny. You mentioned this kind of earlier by accident. You said brain frog. So I thought it'd be funny if there was a product for kids called Brain Frog. Hopefully they wouldn't have brain fog, but it'd be funny if there was a character like that helps clear it away that you put on the bottles or something.
Yeah, I'm going to write down that idea. That's a really great idea.
Yeah, why not? It'd be funny.
Frog, yeah, that's great.
So when people take all three, what's the difference that they notice versus taking just the glutathione? Like, is it a lot stronger or a little bit stronger or a different effect?
Definitely. So our Brain Support is actually our newest product, or our second newest product now on Physician Design. And so everyone that has started taking it, everyone that's talked to us and left reviews or whatever, they all tell us one of the main things is they feel smarter. Just because you can remember things, words come easier to your mind. You're able to just remember quickly, recall the things that you need to bring up in conversation, whatever else. Time and time again, people just tell us, I can't tell you exactly what it is. I just feel good. I feel on. And so that's what we always get back with Brain Support. Even one of our manufacturing partners who runs the plant that we manufacture, and he would keep the dysfunctional capsules or whatever from the runs and hold on to them for himself to take. He ran out of those and started buying the product directly from us, telling, I can't live without this. I need this. And so, yeah, everyone that we talk to with our Brain Support, they absolutely, absolutely love it. The capsules are small. It's super easy to take. You can take 2 to 3 of them a day. And really within just a couple weeks, people start to notice the difference. I know even myself, I've had amazing experiences myself. And in my family, I have a couple different people in my family that have gone on to the world of medicine. My brother is becoming a doctor. I have a sister who's a nurse, becoming a nurse practitioner. And both of them swear by the Brain Support, saying that they are not able to go through school without it, that it's that important to them of just being able to have good memory.
No, that's great. I had heard, I don't know if you can comment on this. If you can, it's okay. But I had heard in the regulatory space there was pressure to get rid of NAC or reduce its potency for some reason. Have you guys run into any of that, or why?
Yes, it was a very interesting thing all throughout the beginning of this year. It was mainly Amazon So I wrote up a couple pieces all about this when it was going down, so I'm happy to talk about it. So N-acetylcysteine was deemed a drug by the FDA, I believe sometime in the 70s. And even there's a product called Mucomist that's used for alcohol overdose and I think acetaminophen overdose in emergency situations. It's high doses of N-acetylcysteine through IV and I think through an inhaler, I believe, or something like that. The whole point is to try to get your body to create more glutathione quickly to be able to detox from the poisoning from alcohol or from acetaminophen to really support your liver. Again, no one had handled glutathione correctly and been able to make really solid delivery systems, and so N-acetylcysteine has always been that way. So NAC has been a drug for a very long time, but the FDA has always allowed the selling of N-acetylcysteine throughout all of these decades as well. Every now and again, you get a company that will make a product that will try to be a hangover cure product that you can take while drinking or after drinking to just completely get rid of a hangover and essentially negate the effects of alcohol and becoming drunk. And so NAC, again, produces glutathione, which then detoxes. It goes through all those processes. And so the FDA issued a letter to a company that was selling a product just like this, saying that you're making a drug claim with the NAC by saying you're curing alcoholism, you're curing whatever else, getting drunk. And so they sent that letter to the company, and then Amazon at the time saw that. I don't know if the product was selling on Amazon or what, but Amazon then decided to shut down the selling of NAC completely because the FDA had come out and said that this is a drug. We can't sell it as a supplement. It's only a drug. So they banned NAC all across Amazon. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of products probably contained N-acetylcysteine. All of our product line did. But they didn't ban glutathione, which is interesting, just N-acetylcysteine. But then only within the last couple of months, they took that back. And now NAC is back on Amazon. It's very interesting that where Amazon is now becoming its own regulatory source of what people can and can't sell. But it's a very interesting ride with that. But yeah, NAC products are back. They've always been great. They're a wonderful thing to take.
Well, if you get big enough, you throw your weight around, and unfortunately, that's what happens with companies throughout history. That I've observed. I'm sure you too. But good thing it's back. That's great.
Yeah.
What's next on your list of products to create? Like, I'm sure there's like endless need, but what are some of the the top candidates for what's next for the company?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how much I can get into the products that we have in development and the different versions of what we're working on. But ultimately, we do want to achieve new drug indications on several versions of our substances, different delivery systems, because what we're doing with glutathione and some of our other products, we're seeing results that no one has seen before. Just the way that we're handling things, going back to our patents, we've really unlocked the potential of what antioxidants can do. And so that's kind of the point of our other company, AO Biologix. It's a biotech. We're just on our infant stage right now, getting things off the ground. But we have a lot in the works. We're anticipating several clinical trials on different versions of our substances, as well as our current product that we're selling. It's called Serum-X Topical Pain Relief Gel, where we use a lidocaine base along with our own super antioxidant to provide a pain relief experience unlike anything else, where we don't numb, we don't necessarily distract from pain, but we dissipate pain. We just kind of make it disappear, all at the same time with our antioxidant, providing incredible antioxidant support right in the skin that has anti-inflammatory benefits and skin renewal benefits unlike anything else. And so that's kind of our newest thing we've been playing around with and just barely getting out into the marketplace with. But we think it's something really cool, something very unique. We've got a lot of eyes on us right now, and we're just trying to get the word out there. And so we're having a lot of fun with all these products. And we do have a lot in the works coming. But mainly, we handle antioxidants. Just the technologies we're playing with, we're seeing that antioxidants really haven't been handled correctly ever. And so we're just kind of taking one by one and seeing what we can do with it.
What are some of the conditions that you guys want to tackle? I know, you can only go into it as much as you can, but since you have a big focus on antioxidants, what other parts of the body or body processes or systems really need antioxidants to help them function better and not degrade?
That's an excellent question. Really, it is every cell of our body ages. And there's the theory of oxidant aging, meaning that every single one of our cells only can replicate so many times. And so the oxidative damage that each cell receives throughout its own life cycles it shortens it. And so if you can relieve the oxidative stress, the oxidative damage that's taking place, while also reducing DNA damage, there's so many things that you can prevent, and so many things, so many different diseases and conditions that you can really help diminish. It's one thing that we like talking about with our Serum X product, an early prototype version of it. One of our first things that we were trying to discover was that this product would be good for ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And our very first participant told us when he started using it, it was having good benefits for him regardless, but it also started relieving his pain. And so that was something that was just completely new to us. We had no idea that with versions of our products that they could actually relieve pain in any way. And so that just kind of opened up our minds to a whole possibility of, well, what can you actually do with antioxidants? And so we've tried it on all kinds of different diseases and different things. We were actually selling a version of our glutathione called Shingular, which was just targeted towards people with shingles. And the claims that we were making with it is that we could essentially renew the skin affected by shingles while also increasing glutathione in the body that then in turn fights the shingles virus, herpes zoster. And so kind of a two-pronged approach. But even just the topical relief that people would receive with a truly functional glutathione, where the blisters, I don't know if you've ever had shingles, it's absolutely horrible, but the blisters are so painful. And we were able to really help people a lot with that, to reduce the blisters and heal their skin right back up to normal with minimal to no scarring at all. Also, all kinds of burns, minor burns is what we've really been testing it on. But yeah, same kind of thing, heal the skin, reduce the scarring. That's really the power of antioxidants. They're there to really help that. I'm not doing anything with stem cells or anything else, just really helping the cells that are already there recover and regrow.
Well, you talked about testing, and certain people may have, genetic errors that prevent them from, reducing glutathione or having much in their system, et cetera. How far away are you guys? I don't know if there's even a desire for this, but what if you were able to make a pretty comprehensive suite of testing for somebody, and then instead of offering them just one vitamin, you say, hey, these are all the things that you're lacking, and based on your genetics, we're going to give you this mix that's personalized to you, and this should, help you feel a lot better because, again, it's personalized to you, and it contains nine different supplements that we found are critical for you. Any thoughts on a product like that?
Man, you nailed that right on the head. So essentially we offer exactly that, about 2/3 of that through our practice right now. At least the testing side of it, and then preparing you the different documentation and just program moving forward of these are the supplements that you need. And definitely, we sell all of our supplements and partnered with many different companies to offer them right in our practice or be able to ship them out to you, or just go buy the ones that we recommend off Amazon directly, wherever you like. So that third part of what you're saying, the personalized nutrition, that is absolutely something that I am working on pursuing. And we're talking with a couple different companies. It gets expensive real fast for someone, but it's definitely possible. We are working towards that right now to be able to offer someone that full package of this is what your intracellular vitamin levels are saying, this is what your genes are saying, these are exactly the supplements that you need in these doses, and this we can have this delivered to you every 30 or 90 days, however you like. So we are working right towards that. You nailed that perfectly. Yeah.
Well, I guess there's personalized supplementation, and then when you say nutrition, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think, okay, that's what you're eating. But I see it as like, obviously two critical components. So if you get someone's supplementation right, and they stop eating XYZ and they start eating ABC, it should have a multiplied effect, I would think, of both. And I guess all that together would be, again, not only personalized supplementation, but personalized nutrition as well.
Yep, you got it. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely. It gets a little bit more complicated for each individual person. One thing, not to get too sidetracked, but one thing that we do a little bit differently is we treat fibromyalgia symptoms. We have many, many fibromyalgia patients, both male and female. And one of the main things that we saw with these patients is a couple unique genetic errors that they all suffer from. And those being MTHFR, which is a specific enzyme that works in the methylation pathways of B vitamins. And then also metallothioneins, which are very specialized proteins that move copper and zinc molecules around in our bodies. And so with those two errors specifically, we were able to develop a couple different products while also developing a nutrition plan of avoiding high copper foods. To go back a little bit, what we've seen with fibromyalgia patients is that they have very increased copper serum levels. So copper in their blood, those levels are very, very high. But inside of their cells, intracellularly, they have huge deficiencies. So copper is in their body.
It sounds similar to like
nutrition.
It sounds similar to like insulin resistance. You might have high levels of insulin and maybe in the serum, but in the cells not enough. Or high blood sugar.
You got it, exactly. Just that, yep. And then what are the receptors and what are the proteins that actually move and make those things function and get them into the places they need to be? Why aren't they functioning correctly? And so just the very brief steps that we took was, first of all, get someone to really reduce the copper intake that they have, because their body needs to process what it already has in the body. At the same time, then you can start on a couple different supplements. One of them is our Copper Balance, which is just a very basic blend of some minerals and amino acids that make those proteins, the metallothioneins, function correctly. Very similar to like insulin resistance. Some of those insulin receptors, a lot of times it's just chromium and choline and a couple other things that really help those receptors function properly. Yeah, that's a whole other thing we can get into another time. But just that. And so if you can help someone adjust their diet and then get on those right kind of supplements, their life changes. Me personally, I've gone through this whole process. I'm a male that was diagnosed with fibromyalgia.
What have you experienced?
Yes.
Yeah, if you would, tell me about what you were feeling like and how you feel now.
Definitely. So I was diagnosed probably 7 years ago with fibromyalgia. I've always been a big guy. At my heaviest, I was about 400 pounds. And I could never consistently work out because my muscles could not recover. I was just in pain all the time throughout my back and my legs. And we've come to see that really is part of the copper issues of copper buildups throughout your body cause a copper toxicity, causing your muscles to not be able to heal correctly. And you're just in a constant cycle of trying to get better and pain, So I was never able to get that properly. And so I was definitely in our early trials of our products, utilizing our Copper Balance and our glutathione, doing a low copper diet, so just avoiding that. You'll realize quickly that there are many foods that are very high in copper, superfoods that are full of great nutrients, but if they're high in copper, they're really bad for people at certain times in their life until they can start processing it again. So once I got those nutritional things under control, I was able to start exercising regularly. And then even with our topical pain gel that came out too to help with some of those muscle pain as well, there's kind of just another third prong to it all to really help it happen. I was finally able to start just taking everything seriously, working out consistently, eating well, eating right all the time. And so now I've lost about 150 pounds. I'm not all the way there yet, but I'm much farther along my wellness journey than I've ever been. And I am feeling absolutely great. The pains that I used to have.
That's great.
Thank you. Oh, it's been an amazing journey, and that's why I love being able to talk about what we actually have to offer, because it changed my life completely. And I get to see it every day with our patients and our customers, that it really does change people's lives. And many people are seeing these same kinds of results. Again, it's consistency. Whatever you're doing, got to find the right things for you and do it long term. So that's what we have to offer. That's what we want to help people achieve.
Oh, quick question here. This may be an ignorant question. I can imagine people saying it to you, but what if someone says, yeah, well, now that you don't weigh so much, of course you don't have pain in all your muscles and joints and all that. Like, how much of it do you think is that versus the nutrition and removing the excess copper and balancing your body out?
Definitely. I mean, it wasn't until about this last year that I lost the majority of the weight. So it took a long time to get the nutrition right, like a couple of years of really working at getting it and just starting to just, even with the very minimal of just trying to move every day, walk 20, 30 minutes on the treadmill every day, just to do anything. And so it took me a long time. It's not been an overnight success, not whatsoever. But as I was able to get things really under control, I'm able to do more and more all the time. I only started weightlifting just in the last 3 or 4 months. And to me, it's amazing. I did my very first pull-up, unassisted pull-up, only 2 days ago. And that was a huge milestone for me in my own life. I've always wanted, I never thought I'd be able to do it. And then just to be able to finally get to that point. Again, nothing happens overnight. It has to be, it's a long journey. It takes a long time to get to where you are and then to try to work back from it. So, but for anyone questioning, I mean, definitely you can do it. Anyone can. It's just with the proper tools. And that's what so many people are lacking. Just really, our whole practice, everything that we do is meant to go to the root cause issues. We never want to have Band-Aid solutions. We get to the root of, okay, you are tired all the time, but why are you tired? What is the real cause? And a lot of times it's vitamin and mineral deficiencies that are the root cause, whether it's genetic or trauma-induced. That's what we figure out and get you better.
Okay. All right. So to recap, where can people go to find your supplements, and then what conditions that they have should they consider taking your supplements? Like, it sounds like fibromyalgia, you may be able to help. What are other conditions? And then again, where can they go?
Yeah, I mean, the best place to go is get introduced, get familiarized with our practice. And so go to danpursermd.com. Go look them up on Facebook or Google, just Dan Purser MD. We have that everywhere. And so we're linked back to our other sites. Physiciandesigned.com is our supplement line. Again, a lot of our products are meant specifically for those with the MTHFR disorders as well as fibromyalgia, but both our glutathione and our brain support are for absolutely everyone. They are baseline energy cellular support products that literally anyone in the world can benefit from. And then our other company, AO Biologix, where we have our biotech things going on and our pain gel. Yeah, definitely Dan Purser MD. That's the base of it all. Our founder and our main physician. He is a phenomenal man that is spoken and educated all around the world. Has had several #1 books. He knows his stuff. And maybe someday we can get him on this podcast with you too. I'm sure you'd love to pick his brain.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And again, just to recap, what are some of the problems that people have that they should definitely look to your site for? I know it's not for everybody, but what are the main things? If someone's experiencing XYZ, what are those things where they should definitely take a look?
So the nice thing is, if you have ever experienced anxiety, depression, or fatigue, we are here for you. We get to those root causes of what is causing those things. I mean, everyone that's ever had fibromyalgia or anything, they've almost always had anxiety and depression and fatigue as well. So that's always an easy one for us to get going with. But otherwise, I mean, if you have low testosterone, what is the cause of low testosterone in men? There's a couple of things that we see time and time again, even going right back to B vitamin deficiencies and what's causing those deficiencies. Again, that was another case of that. I always had chronically low testosterone levels. And again, just over these last couple of years, taking supplementation seriously, I've been able to increase testosterone levels in myself. And again, time and time again, with many of our patients, we're doing exactly that. So yeah, those big three. If you've ever experienced anxiety, depression, or fatigue, come look us up, Dan Purser MD. We do work with patients all around the world, and especially all around the U.S. Our testing can be done anywhere in the U.S. We ship you the kit, and you can get it done anywhere. So we are here to help.
Excellent. And I also believe that if people use the code GENIUS at checkout, they're going to get X number of % off. I don't know if you're familiar with what the code out to listeners. If they put in the code GENIUS, they're going to get a good percentage off their order as well.
That is correct. I don't remember off the top of my head how much that percentage is, but yep, right on physiciandesign.com, you will get a great discount with the code GENIUS.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast and for sharing your personal journey, which I know is not easy, and your victories. And it's been a great call, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me, too.
No problem. Do you struggle with a lack of focus or energy? The team at Physician Designed knows the feeling, and they can help. Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 both use a proprietary blend of PQQ and CoQ10 to maximize the boost you need without any negative side effects. Studies show that Brain Support MicroPQQ and MicroActiveCoQ10 lower fatigue, anxiety, and depression, while increasing mental acuity and awareness. Feel the difference for yourself today. You can save 30% on your next order at physiciandesigned.com. Just use the code GENIUS during checkout. Again, that's GENIUS to get 30% off at physiciandesign.com.
If you like this podcast, please click the link in the description to subscribe and review us on iTunes.
You've been listening to the Finding Genius podcast with Richard Jacobs. If you like what you hear, be sure to review and subscribe to the Finding Genius podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts. And want to be smarter than everybody else? Become a premium member at findinggeniuspodcast.com. This podcast is for information only. No advice of any kind is being given. Any action you take or don't take as a result of listening is your sole responsibility. Consult professionals when advice is needed.